Well, I heard a little squealing noise. Check it out here, guys. Get down here closer, you can see it. See how this pulley's riding kind of funny on here. I replaced these pulleys, the belt, and this tensioner a couple years ago. I don't remember if it was a Dorman or not. I'm not sure, it might be a Dorman. But check this out. You can grab right on this and turn it without the belt moving. So apparently the spring is gone in that tensioner, and it looks like the bolt's resting on a timing chain cover. The pulley's spinning freely, but I'm hearing a lot of squealing going on startups. After it's warm, it seems okay. So I'm in a panic. I ordered one. It'll be here in a couple days. I hope I can drive a couple days. If I break down, I got to run to the supply house and just grab one. But a little less money on the old Amazon, on the old 2010. So we got one coming. Sounds pretty quiet to me. A little bit of a whistling sound, but usually in the morning it'll start like kind of a weird chirping, squealing, humming sound. But I think we got our new part, so I'm going to go ahead and put that belt tensioner on. It looks like I need a 1/2-inch breaker bar, and looks like a 10mm. Because I definitely don't want this thing to act up. Okay, our part came in. These are all about the same. They did have a Dorman on there online, but I thought I'd better stay away from that. Eric always says not too much good about Dorman parts. Neighbors are over here riding wheeler, and we got some snow and ice dripping off the roof. It looks like we got a spring thaw here. Still early February. Let's open this up, make sure it's the same exact thing. Well, it sure looks the same. 3 bolts, and then we've got our 1/2-inch square. We get a new pulley and bearing, and I got a little sponge thing up here to lean on so I'm not crushing anything. And what I was wondering on this, see if I can get the camera down in here, cameraman. See all that chatter marks? Now, I think, let's see if I can turn this. Look at how easy that turns with the belt still on it. I think what happened is there's not enough tension on it, and that could be part of our alternator squeal in the morning. And the next thing is the clearance between this pulley back here and the timing chain cover is almost 0. So I'm wondering if the spring didn't blow apart on that. I thought I put a new one on this a couple years ago in a belt, but I might have done these 2 idler pulleys, one here and one down there. How many's on this? There's 2 or 3. And I can't remember. I know I did the belt for sure. I thought I did that idler, or the tensioner. So it's got 3 10mm bolts. I'm going to loosen them up. Prior to that, you put your breaker bar on there. Well, problem with that is, you know, we're in our garage project. I got all the major tools out of there, big tools. So I can't find it. It's in a box. And so I'm going to use a 1/2-inch ratchet and see if I can move it, just using a ratchet. And then I brought a pipe out in case I need a little more leverage. Just gotta be careful what you're pulling against. So I got all 3 bolts out. Our belt is loose. I'm gonna pull this up out of here and see if we can find anything wrong with it. Well, they look similar, but they are different. The size looks the same. The spring is encapsulated in there. This spring is hanging out down here. I didn't know if they'd be in a different position if the spring is bad, meaning the pulley would be that direction. I don't know. Set them exactly on top. Yeah, they're about in the same position. So, why else would your belt be really loose and you could turn the pulleys if it's not the tensioner? So let's get down in here. What do we got? Get a little more light on it. It doesn't look like it touched the timing cover, even though it's like a 1/16 of an inch away. See if I can see anything wrong here. The idler sits right up in there. I don't see anything had rubbed. Because the only thing that moves would be the idler. Everything else is stationary. We've got the power steering pump and idler pulley there. Idler pulley up. I can't get in the right position up here. We've got the water pump, idler pulley, AC, and alternator up here. And I'm just gonna see if there's any play in any of these bearings. And I don't feel any. It's hard to hold the camera too. No play in these. So I would think it's the idler. So they're only in the $20-some range, so I'm going to go ahead and put it on. But I turned that pulley and that pulley by hand with a tensioner applied. And you know, you're not supposed to do that. So now I'm going to take the alternator, the belt off the alternator, take that tension off, and then I've already inspected the belt and it appears to be in good shape, no cracks. Like I said, I put it on last year and the grooves look good. Harmonic balancer looks good. It's still didn't walk out or anything. I don't know. Well, let's put that tensioner on. So it's got the 3 10mm bolts. I'll put them in it. And they're right here. The threads are nice and clean. I'm going to put them in. Alright, I got all 3 bolts started. Now I'm going to run them in. I'm making sure the belt is over top of the pulley. And it's unhooked from the alternator up on top here. Alright, I got all 3 of those 10mm bolts torqued up to spec. Now I want to pull on the belt, see what kind of tension we got here, and see we're about a mile from this alternator. So I think already I can tell there's a big difference. I think the spring relaxed on the other one. So I'm going to put my 1/2 inch ratchet on there, see if I can get strength enough without putting a pipe on it. And let's see, we got to go down probably. So I can use my other hand, so I can't film this. I'm going to put that in that square hole and push down. I'm going to slip the belt up on the alternator. You can see, push that down, and that'll release the tension. Wow, that was under a lot of tension. That kind of hurt the knuckles here, the hand. Now, you want to make sure that your belt is on all those screws, on all the pulleys. It looks good, but what I like to do instead of going in and starting the truck up is just bump it over, make sure it doesn't start. That'll do 1 or 2 revolutions and make sure it's on. Let's try that. Alright, I bumped it a couple times, turn the engine over a little bit. Now, that looks good. Every pulley looks to be seated, and the distance. There's quite a bit of distance now. I can almost get my pinky down in there. Before, this was like, oh, I thought it was touching the timing cover. So it's possible the old spring relaxed and tilted. Let's see if we can turn these pulleys by hand. Just start to turn it. I can't turn that one. So it's definitely tighter now. So let's fire it up and see what it sounds like. See if it sounds quiet or not. It might sound a little better. You in focus? Probably not. There we go. It's definitely farther away from the timing cover now. Hear the alternator working there. Charge that battery. I think it was just plain squealing because it had no tension on the belt. I could turn all the pulleys, or the two idler pulleys, by hand. I think that's a fix, guys. Just a simple idler pulley replacement, and kind of diagnose, make sure that's what the problem was. I went ahead and ordered it because it was cheap. It was a $100 part. I would have tore things apart and checked all the bearings, everything first. We're ready to go, so thanks for watching. We got a bowling game to go to, and our school is at #1 right now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.